Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to another episode of the Fighters Rep podcast. I'm your host, Fighters Rep Fez, aka George, here with the truth, Coach Jason Caldwell of Blackbeard Kickboxing. Coach, thank you so much for joining me
Man,
today.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Jason, it's such a pleasure to have you on. Before this whole Fighters Rep thing, I'd heard about you, but I never got the opportunity to work with you, and it's been 3 or 4 shows in a row now I get to work with you.
Yeah.
And, you've kind of, very similar to your brother, who's now our super middleweight champion, risen to the top for me, right? As one of the premier, striking coaches that we're dealing with here. And when I say premier, I don't just mean in Southern California. I mean in all of California. I mean in all of the United States, right? So I want you in a nutshell to let everybody at Knucklehead Nation know, who is Jason Caldwell.
Oh man. I don't know where to start. Yeah, man. I'm just a guy. Like I like to I like to fight, and I like to help people get better at doing what they do. I started training out in Vegas. We're at Master Toddy's. That was the first Muay Thai gym that I started training at, and I walked in there, and it was so crazy, like Titans. You know what I mean? Everyone was so huge to me. At the time, it was like Kevin Ross. You know what I mean? He was still an amateur there, and Gina Carano. Wow. Kit Cope was there. Like, man, it was so many superstars in there. And I just, find my way in there. And man,
around what year, what time was this?
That was around 2004.
Yeah. I see. Now, are you born and raised in Vegas?
No. I'm from here in California, Riverside.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in like Hemet.
I see. So you went out there to get work, to get better, to train, because you were a fighter yourself. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have like too much going on when I graduated high school. I was just, doing punk rock stuff and, skateboarding a bunch, and I just had to get into something. And I've been fighting since I was, little. So that was the right move for me.
I see. Punk rock. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Punk rock and skateboarding.
Yeah, man, I was the youngest, like, of 4 boys at the time, Yeah. And all my brothers were like studs. Everything they did, they broke all the records at school, and I just didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, team sports, I just didn't want to do that. Everyone's expectations of, exceeding, breaking my brother's records on the walls, and I'm cool, man. I liked, I like skateboarding, and I like to be me. So moving to Vegas, I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family. I kind of just, my name through like the Muay Thai community started to grow, and it was because of me, you know what I mean? And not living up to my brother's expectations.
Yeah. And what sport was it that the family was usually gravitating to?
Basketball, football.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Any sports really, but basketball, football, track. My brothers, they played all of it. So.
Now I gotta ask you, and shout out to the people in the chat right now: Chris K. Cross, Ray, she's balling. We're gonna get to you guys. Ray, she's balling. Actually said he's been knocking dudes out his whole life. so I like that. We're gonna get into that. But I gotta ask you about your brother, who's obviously our super middleweight champion now, Joshua Caldwell. You're his coach. You're coaching your brother. And the guy is just a physical specimen. I mean, Joshua is the guy everybody wants to look like, I think.
Right.
tall, shredded, muscular, just a complete beast. Did he must have played some kind of other sport before getting into this.
Yeah, he was a football player as well.
I see, I
Yeah.
see, I see, I see. And he's long too. So if you would have said basketball, I would have said I understand that.
Yeah, he's a physical guy. Basketball, you know what I mean, he wanted to run people over.
For sure, for sure, for sure. So you mentioned, you went out there to Vegas. Now you had your own fight career. Tell me a little bit about your fight career, and then how you transitioned into coaching.
Yeah, fighting. I fought quite a bit in Vegas. I won some titles out there as an amateur, and um, man, Vegas Muay Thai scene was it was thick. It was very compact. All the gyms got have animals. Everyone there is ready. You know what I mean? Is looking to be at the top. So there was no easy fights there. And then 2012, I moved back to California. I landed at a gym here in Riverside, and then I was fighting. I did like 2 more amateur fights, and then turned pro. But by that time, I had already started coaching. Like I quit my other jobs. I was just coaching, and at that time, like turning pro, I had like 8 to 10 guys fighting actively, pretty regularly,
Yeah.
And that's a hard balance. Like it's hard to juggle, making sure your guys are on top of their training while you're supposed to be on top of your training.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot of fighters tell you like it's not really, it can't really be done. Like it shouldn't be done,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wrote it out. And then 2014 was my last fight, and I had just a bunch of people looking to get better, and I felt like they weren't getting it. So I've just been doing that. Took a little break, leaving that gym, and then went to go work in the big box to try to figure out how to run a business.
The big box. I hate the big box.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was. Pushing the sales and stuff like that every day.
Yeah.
It really made me appreciate the small gyms, but also taught me like how to keep a family-based gym and still be able to eat.
Yeah. I gotta ask, because we've joked about this in the past, me and another coach, and you saw it. You're not the most extroverted guy. I would imagine sales would probably drive you a little bit crazy, but maybe I'm wrong. And that's why I'm excited about this interview, because this is the most I've been able to talk to you in a really long time. I really am enjoying this. I feel like you got a lot of knowledge to give to people in the fight game. But how is that for you? Do you enjoy having to sit there and kind of sell the brand, or would you rather do what you're doing now, in my opinion?
Oh no, I would much rather do what I was doing, but to be honest, like even going into that big box atmosphere, pushing, I didn't really. I let the product sell itself. Like I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, and if I can help you, if I can just show you in 5 minutes how to improve something that you're not, you know what I mean, anything you know how to do, if I can help you get better at it, you know what I mean, it should speak for itself. So I didn't put a whole lot of pressure on myself as far as like fitting that mold. I really just tried to find my own groove, and I knew that there's people who want like authenticity. So I just stayed in that lane. You know what I mean? I made it work for me. And I don't really know, like, I know a lot of people that worked at that spot and can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
see, and that's actually what I was gonna say, right? I was gonna say, do you like having to sell, or would you rather do what you're doing now? Because this is what I'm seeing, right? What I'm seeing, and this kind of goes into what you were saying, I think, is would you rather do what you're doing now, which is create something that's very successful that seems to be selling itself, right? Because if you weren't giving out this amazing recipe, which is Blackbeard kickboxing, then Joshua wouldn't be our super middleweight champion. A guy like Shanchai wouldn't have stepped in the last fight against the kid with more experience than him and
Mhm.
performed at the level he performed at.
Yeah.
David Pacheco wouldn't be the most exciting fighter that I've ever seen in my life, and I think I'm pretty sure he might be the most exciting fighter I've ever seen. This is, for me, this is you building an intellectual property here that's just too great for people to stay away from. Is that kind of the thing you're going after? Build it, and they will come.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? And David, that dude is his own animal. Like he's a wild man by himself. And
I need a glass of whiskey every time David fights.
And he's been really helpful, like helping me groom the guys, building these guys up. Even Josh, like pushing Josh to that next level. Just being in his ear about, like, Tom, yeah, you got a belt, but now you got to work twice as hard to keep it. You know what I mean? He's been helping me out a lot in that aspect. So I'm super happy to be in the position that I'm at now. You know what I mean? Like, it is like, it's self-rewarding, and it's hard work, but everybody's working hard. I don't mind working hard when everybody in my gym is working hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, this is Coach Jason Caldwell, the owner, the founder of Blackbeard Kickboxing, somebody I'm very excited to have on because his brother, and he's the coach of his brother, is our super middleweight champion in Joshua Caldwell. So definitely give them a follow. Where can they follow you guys on Instagram?
Blackbeard Kickboxing.
That's
on
the
Instagram.
one.
Yeah. I think I spelled it kind of weird, actually. And then me personally, Truth to Blackbeard.
There you go. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Join the channel if you want to help us continue to build and get your Fighters Rep merchandise in the link below. Also, shout out to everyone in the chat. We're going to get to you guys. Any questions you guys have for Coach Jason, for myself, about his brother, anything, you could drop it in the chat. We'll get to it at the end of this. But that's my segue, Coach Jason, to talking about your brother, man, Joshua Caldwell. He's just been an absolute delight to work with. I told you this not too long ago. He's one of the kids that we've had consistently on the Fighters Rep shows that represents, in my opinion, everything the brand's about, which is be down to fight anyone within reason. I mean, obviously, I don't want to, I don't make crazy mismatches, I don't think, but,
Right.
everybody has their opinion. Be down to fight anyone, come through, be professional, put on a great performance, stay active, and you'll be great. That's kind of my opinion. You'll be great as long as you stay active and do all that stuff. And Joshua is personifying that, man. Your brother's personified that. 3 fights in a row, looks better every time, has now become a champion. Kind of take me through these last 3 or 4 fights. What any changes you've seen in Joshua?
Man, Josh is he's maturing, man. Every fight, he's growing. And he downloads. You know what I mean? Like little things in the gym, picking up. He's downloading really fast, and that's him just being active. I think we were having a conversation about like kind of making him take time, take a few days off. You know what I mean? Because he just wants to be in the gym. He's maturing in and out of the ring. He's stepping up in the gym, more of a leadership role. Well, he's always been a leader, but more vocalizing, pushing the team. So definitely need that. And everybody's like is thriving off of his energy. So it's, it feels big. My gym is not big, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
feels like the energy is big there. So
Yeah, and what has this, because for me, as I've watched him, I mean, I'm a fan of the technical aspect of fighting. And he checks off the boxes for athleticism. He checks off the boxes for physique. He checks off the boxes, for selling himself and being intriguing. But for me, the technique, man, the technique is so money. And that's something that you've taught him, I assume, or have had a huge hand in teaching him. If you can kind of elaborate on, his technical style. It's a beautiful style to watch.
yeah, Josh is Josh can do all the things. You know what I mean? Like you've seen him fight like different styles, like every fight. You know what I mean? Like Cameron was a big dude. Josh was not 100% in that fight, and he did what he have to do. You know what I mean? He used his footwork. You know what I mean? He just picked him off from the outside, did his thing. You know, um, and then this last one, you saw him let his hands go. Uh, but I mean, like you guys haven't even seen the technical Josh. You know what I mean? That he can be, or that he is. That dude. He like I said, he can do all the things. And the more fights he gets, the more comfortable he gets. It'll start. You know what I mean? You'll start seeing it a bit more. But and I'm really meticulous about little details. So I get on him about things, but I try not to really harp on him. But I really like the footwork. Your feet are doing this. You know what I mean? You might be overextending on this punch. So we work on just kind of like now, he's in shape. So you're just maintaining, staying in shape, keeping the weight down, and fixing those little things that irritate me.
Now, what I've seen that I'm also impressed with. I mean, look, he really impressed me a lot, because in the last fight, I mean, I guess he took it personally that I told your dad that Jason's the powerhouse, Josh was the speedster. When I was complimenting you guys after
Yeah,
the fight, he took that to heart. He said, "I got to find motivation somewhere." I guess he came up to me and he said, "Because you said that, I'm knocking this guy out tonight at
right.
the last fight." And he went
Yes,
out there and
man.
did it. And not only did he did it, not only did he do it, Jason, in that fight against David Rivera, he hurt him bad and dropped him with a straight left, I
Mhm.
think it was. And I want to say that Josh was a southpaw. Am I right?
Right.
So then in the last fight, he wins the title and gets this incredible finish. I mean, that was just a beautiful finish to watch, with a right hook to the body, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So he's hurting and finishing people with both hands. Uh, so I mean, is on top of the technique, he's got power in both hands. Is that what we're seeing here?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, I'm a little small secret. Josh is right-handed,
I
but he
see.
fights
Okay.
southpaw.
Okay.
So
I see.
if he's dropping people with his right hand, you know what I mean. Just to let you know, like he's got a heavy right hand. Like his jabs feel like most people's crosses. Like it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
People
mean,
don't want to sit in front of that.
yeah, I know. And he's a very long guy. And you can tell he generates a lot of leverage with his punches, because of
Mhm.
his length, his athleticism, and everything else. He's got a very tough customer ahead of him for September 3rd.
Mhm.
I haven't seen too much footage on Kaylee Scott. Big shout out to him and his team. But a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Um, and a guy that's also in very, very good shape. How is Joshua looking now that he's got that gold around his waist? Do you see him developing at a faster rate? What should we expect from Josh come September 3rd?
Um, I think, like I said earlier, like you'll probably get a little bit more of seeing him fight the way he intends to fight. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a lot more of him flowing, his technique, him setting things up, and the results are going to be the same. You know what I mean? He's still going to be smacking people and dropping them. I
For
don't see
sure.
that changing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch that fight, here's my turn to plug the show. My shameless plug, Jason, get your tickets at FightersRep.com. If you can't make it, you can also join and watch the live stream by getting your live stream access also at FightersRep.com, or just joining the YouTube channel here. It's $9.99 a month, and you could watch Josh and all these future stars throw down. Couple personal questions I wanted to ask you, Coach Jason. You mentioned Muay Thai out in Vegas. It was super thick. I know you guys participate in a lot of Muay Thai events. We're a kickboxing promotion.
Mhm.
And it seems to me like you guys are fitting in very well in the kickboxing, genre with us. Is Joshua, and your team looking to be more kickboxers? Are they looking to be more Muay Thai, or do they not
Um,
care? They just want to fight.
yeah. I we just we want to fight, and and I like I like I like working with you. You know what I mean? Whether
I
it's
appreciate that. Thank
yeah,
you, man.
I like working with you. Whether it's kickboxing, Muay Thai, rooster fights, whatever. You know. Yeah, I like working with you. I do want to. My team is kind of divided actually. Like half of them are more Muay Thai oriented, and so when we're not at your shows, we're at Muay Thai shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I like to punch a lot, so but I like to elbow too. That's real nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, right now it's about getting in where we fit in and build our name and reputation, you know, and maybe divide and conquer from there. But for
Yeah.
now, it's we're just getting in and making good relationships, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we've built a great relationship. I like to hear that you enjoy working with us, man. We love working with you guys. Not just me, the staff, the girls on the staff, the whole team. They really all appreciate you and your family. Your family brings a great energy, man. You and your brothers and your dad, you guys come to
Yeah,
support Joshua, and I absolutely love and I can appreciate that dynamic because it's a family business for us too. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So all the girls at the front, they respect you guys and because you guys also respect them, and I
yeah.
appreciate that very much. I wanted to also, ask you, here's another personal question. You know, you have David Pacheco who fights a certain way.
Hmm.
And that's in his DNA to just be a berserker.
Right.
And then you have Joshua, who's just like, I'm not saying David Pacheco doesn't have technique, but man, Joshua is just like an absolute technician. And then you have Shanchai, who's this kid with like super fast hands and also, very technical, but also very tough. Is there like a hallmark that we should look for in fighters coming out of Blackbeard, or do you just look at them and just try to bring out the best in whatever's already kind of in them?
Yeah, I don't want to make a bunch of me's. I want everybody to fight the way they fight and just try to help them improve, for themselves.
Yeah,
I I've seen a lot of gyms like that no, we do it this way. We do it this way. You have to do it this way. And one shoe doesn't fit everybody. So
yeah,
I just try to really help and improve where people are already good. If you
yeah,
like to throw punches, and we'll sharpen you up.
for sure, for sure. Now, Jason, Blackbeard kickboxing, is it relatively new? Can you tell me how long Blackbeard has been around?
Blackbeard kickboxing, I started during COVID, like officially.
Wow.
I started during COVID, and like I was talking about that big box when COVID happened and we got shut down, and I was home, just like, all right, everybody's not doing anything. I just started training people out of my garage, and then and we started training at the park. And then a friend, MBSP, where Josh is coaching at now, I worked with them at the big box gym, and they invited me to come and coach out of there, kind of run my own business out of there, So I
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
And we built it up there, and we got it big enough to where we can get our own space. So, we just been grinding.
Man, you guys just like since COVID, man, you've done
Yeah.
all this. I mean, you guys have really taken off. You've already got a titleist, and not for nothing, we're the only like exclusively kickboxing promotion that I know of here. I mean, I know the other promotions either do Muay Thai or mixed rule set. Even when they do the mixed rule set, they're not really doing pros. So I think it's awesome that you guys already won a title with Joshua. You almost won another one with David Pacheco as well.
Yeah.
That was awfully close. And big shout out to you, man. I mean, what can the world expect from Blackbeard Kickboxing and from this team that you're building?
Man, we just going with the flow. Obviously, we want to continue to grow. The competition, like we want to be at the top. We just want to be at the top.
Yeah.
I just like I have other coaches that I respect and I look up to, and to be like across the ring from them, like that's dope. That's it, man. We just want to compete with the best, and just be here. That's it. We just want to compete with the best and just
I love it, and continue to grow. And I'm looking for the same thing. And let me tell you, Coach Jason, one of the most exciting additions to the network has been Blackbeard Kickboxing. Man, we feel so blessed to have you guys on. The fighters, yeah, man, the fighters are so good. It's just between Shanchai and Pacheco and Joshua, and we had Jesse on, and we had Enrique. Well, we almost had Enrique on, and just a great variety of fighters and guys that I worked with and really enjoyed, and I look forward to working with more in the future. And you mentioned being across the ring from these great coaches. I love that. What kind of gets me going about this whole promotional thing, right, is seeing, for example, Blackbeard Kickboxing versus Classic Fight Team, right? When you guys took on David Rivera.
Yeah.
Seeing Blackbeard Kickboxing versus CMMA. Well, when you guys took on, that kind of stuff really gets me going, because we're talking about like premier gyms in the world that are sending fighters, to the UFC and Bellator and everywhere else. So it's amazing watching all the gyms that we have here, compete with each other so closely, and knowing that, they're sending these fighters to so many high-level promotions. It's really interesting for me. You know what I mean? Building the rivalries.
Right.
Respectful rivalries,
I think for me, like the biggest, Brian Popejoy, like, man, that, like I told you, like that dude trained my coach. So
yeah.
I felt like, man, okay, it's something, like this is dope. So
it's amazing. It's amazing. Brian Popejoy, man. I mean, and then even Christian Zoller, came up short against Joshua, but his coach Lamont, he's kind of jumped onto the scene pretty quick recently as well. I love working with these new gyms who, are getting the opportunity to kind of, show what they're made of at the venue. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for letting me do
thank
this
you for
with
having me.
man. For sure. And guys, if you want to watch Coach Jason and his stable of fighters compete at FightersRep, be sure to get your tickets at FightersRep.com to FightersRep 15. You can also join the channel and watch it live. That's the only way to watch the fights live, other than showing up. Coach Jason, is there anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out, and also plug the gym? Let them know where they can come see you and get some work in.
Yeah. I do want to shout out my old coach, Mark Beecher, man. I wouldn't be here without you. Um, my friends, family, my lady. Yeah, and we have a meal prep company, Blackbeard Galley.
The galley, I like that. I
Yeah.
like you go with the pirate theme. I like the pirate theme you're going with.
I mean, that was
By the
one of
way,
the first.
show them the logo on the shirt,
Oh,
man.
let's see
What
here.
a dope logo. This is one of the dopest logos in the fight game. I mean, come on. Come on, get you a
Cool.
Blackbeard shirt and support these guys, man. But
Thank you.
continue. You said you have the meal prep before I
Yeah, yeah.
interrupt.
So we have a meal prep company, Blackbeard Galley. You can find us on Instagram as well. Um, yeah, man, that's it. Thank you. My team, uh, the families, the team's families, their families who get behind them, show up, buy the tickets, make the noise. Um, everybody who show us love, everybody. Much love.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time again, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to subscribe. Follow Coach Jason at Blackbeard Kickboxing. Follow us at FightersRep. We're going to see you guys on September 3rd, and we'll see you tomorrow live for our co-main event press conference between Raymond Martinez and Cameron Spencer. Coach Jason Caldwell, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, Coach. Appreciate
Man,
it.
thank you.
All right, man.